Welcome, friends. OG Murphy coming at you live. We are getting ready to play some D&D. We do this every Friday night. I've been playing with this group in particular for, gosh, not quite a year. Maybe actually it's been about a year. We've had one alteration, rotation of characters. One player, unfortunately, schedule didn't align up with ours, but we found a new one who did. So, circle of D&D. This is a super casual game, not necessarily made for stream, but we all definitely have a good time. No offense is ever intended by any of us, and hopefully none is taken by you folks. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's do some recap. Let's play some D&D.
And the argument ensued where Echo was
I'm
talking
live. Who's
to...
doing recap?
Oh, okay. Jeremy, you want to go or do you want me to go?
I think you have a better grasp of it.
Okay. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, our boys were still in Woodhurst and were making their way to Ruinswick with their horses, walking fast faces, passing them homebound. But they were making their way to Ruinswick. As they're walking, they see, orcish dude, aka who we labeled as fake daddy in the fight, getting attacked by a goat, and there being a cart. Titus, kind of the main battle guy, starts walking up to it, see what the fuck's going on. Echo was hidden off to the side along with Pepper. At this moment, fake grass thing, or the spell that you may use to make grass grow, ends up being used to hold the fake daddy in place because Echo knows that's fake daddy. She tries to warn Titus. Titus takes it as a sincere thing of, this is something going on. Battle ensues. Goat attacked Echo. Titus eventually was able to get to fake daddy. Sadly, we learned in that moment that there were not just 2 mimics, but 3, because the cart, shapeshift transformed and started to try to beat his ass like a transformer and tried to eat him. Max was able to stay off to the side away from the grass, and eventually the spell was let down so no one was tangled in the grass no more. In this moment, the goat decided he's gonna whoop Max's ass. Echo was able to move because the goat was no longer on top of her and start shooting at fake daddy while Titus took care of the evil cart and Max killed the goat shapeshifter. Once everything died, we figured out that the cart was definitely a mimic. The fake daddy was more of a shapeshifter thing, which from our understanding, it's those type of doppelganger things where they can see you once and then they can mimic you perfectly, which makes sense in this case because it was mimicking Echo's adopted father. But not all the features were technically right since it had a necklace on that Echo knew her father didn't have anymore. But the goat that attacked Max specifically, when it changed back, it was a human corpse from my understanding, and it had a map that we took. Mm-hmm. This is where roleplay began setting in. Since Echo is primarily raised within Orcish culture, she continued conversations with Titus, which is awkward because Max don't speak Orcish. There were conversations, there were insults thrown, there was I would never fuck you moments, and hurt feelings happened, and there was a decision to be made that Echo will travel with them because they are wanting to get the monies to get the reward for helping her find her dad, and she's wanting to help get her dad, and at this point, she kind of needs all the help she can get. And then we made our way, we were going to start traveling to Ruinswick.
Yep. That all sounds correct to me. That all sounds correct to you guys?
The corpse had a map. I couldn't remember if I mentioned that. The corpse did have a map.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Okay.
Cool. Sweet. Anything else to add, my fellow players?
No, that's pretty concise.
Okay, then all we need to do is introduce your characters. I will dramatically scroll and pan in on your characters as you introduce them, and we're going to go in reverse Discord order, which puts Andreas first.
So I'm playing Maxwell Briggs. He is a human cleric who is a bit douchey, but he's currently trying to figure out the necromancer stuff so he can kind of make a name for himself and come back to Fort Sakis because he knows he can't really go back there without some consequences happening.
And what is he?
Oh, human cleric.
There you
He said what he is. He's a dick.
go.
He's a short king, that's what he is.
All right. Jennifer, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Okay, this is Echo. She is a kind of fayish inspired tiefling, like bug themed, if you will. She's kind of she's kind of more raised with orcish values, though, because her adopted father, who she is trying to find after he went missing from the Blood Moon. She is a hunter, which is a Pathfinder class where they basically took the ranger and the druid and kind of smushed them together. Right next to her is Peppa, her animal companion, and I want to say currently medium mantis. Not big enough to ride just yet, but we're going to get to there.
Oh, if she's a medium mantis, then she's a little small.
Yeah. She's like the same, I want to say same size as Echo.
Cool. Which means last but not least, Jeremy.
That's my boy Titus. He's a half-orc fighter, I think. Pretty sure he's a fighter. Confirmation. He's a half-orc fighter. He's basically just a bounty hunter. Somehow got embroiled in all this shit and stumbled upon a wizard that instilled fear in him for the first time in a long time. So now he's intrigued.
Cool. Love it. And with that, you guys are not quite to Ruinswick, but you are on the road, on the very northern end of the road, which stretches between Woodhurst and Ruinswick. You've just had this encounter, which last time I was reviewing the tape, which we dubbed the "Nothing is as it seems" encounter. And you guys have now made this tenuous connection, the three of you, and you find yourself traveling on the same road after engaging in combat together. It is late evening. Titus is on his great steed. I'm sorry, Titus. Your horse's name?
Yeah, Hidalgo.
Hidalgo. How could I forget? And Max rides a horse as well. Do you have a name for your horse, Max?
Yeah, it was Stool. Or Stew.
Stew.
Just Stew.
Pepper is not quite large enough to mount yet, which means that you guys are going to have to slow to a trot if you want to continue to travel alongside Echo. Which for the moment, the three of you aren't even traveling yet. You're just kind of finishing up the battle. There are still a mimic corpse wagon and a formless doppelganger corpse and this strange humanoid laying around you who you've pulled this strange map off of. It's getting late. You guys know you have a couple hours ahead of you.
Did we already
would you guys
the
like to do?
wagon?
What's that?
Have we already looted the wagon?
You have looted the wagon, yes. Okay. You looted all three corpses.
What's the terrain looking like? Is it roughly true to form on the map right now?
I mean, you guys are gonna eventually be coming up this road as you come. I mean, this is like the south end of town. You guys are a couple hours from this point. But yeah, there's a loose forest on the. Let me see here. The west side of the road. It's a regular dirt road, obviously very well traveled. But this close to town, there's the occasional farmhouse and large expanse of farm out to the east. But the west is still dominated by trees and forest at this point.
How wide would you say the road is?
Wide enough
where
for two
battle...
wagons to comfortably pass.
Okay. I want to move the mimic and I want to move the two corpses into the middle of the road and set them on fire.
There's three corpses total, so you're leaving the humanoid corpse at this point?
There's three corpses? It was
There's
the
there's
mimic.
the thing that looks like a human now. There's the thing that looks like a weird formless humanoid shape now.
Oh,
And
that's right. I
there's
forgot.
the
Oh,
wagon with teeth.
yeah. No, we're putting all three of them into this bonfire.
And Max and Echo see Titus just like after you guys have gone through the bodies, sees him just like dragging them all to the middle of the road and stacking them up. What's
Whoa.
Max and Echo doing while Titus is doing this?
I think he's looking at him and is like asking like, what's the logic behind this?
Echo's probably, if Max is saying this, is kind of looking at Titus to wait for the response.
No, no proof. If anything, this looks more like a raid gone wrong rather than us, unfortunately, getting on somebody's bad side.
Drew can't have anyone thinking that we're murderers.
Exactly. This was clearly self-defense.
And I think Max is probably gonna help there.
I'm sorry?
He's probably gonna help with that.
With moving the bodies?
Yeah.
Sounds great. You guys both go and you pick up the mimic wagon and you go to set it down, and then you go to turn away, and the whole wagon is like this adhesive is still sticky, and it's still like stuck to your guys' limbs, and you and Titus have to like coordinate. Okay, I'm gonna stand. You pull, and rip it loose from you guys as you stack all these corpses up.
I think I want to try to shove the corpses into the giant maw of the mimic, or at least have them hanging out.
Yeah, for sure. Easily enough done. As these, are they both hanging a head out or are they hanging ass out?
Ass out.
Okay, then there's just 4 legs dangling out of the mouth of this, along with the huge tongue that's lolling out of this wagon corpse in the middle of the road. What are you guys gonna do?
Figured once they had gotten the mimic and Max got the mimic stuff on him, he kind of just stopped helping a bit to like clean himself up. So that's what he was doing for the board.
He's over with a handkerchief, just like wiping off his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Does Max have an actual handkerchief?
I mean, he probably does. He probably has a rag. He's not gonna use a handkerchief to get mimic goop off of him. It's just gonna be like a leather cloth or cloth or something.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, he's gonna pull out like a torch and I guess set it alight because that's that's been talked about, right?
So Max is holding this torch.
Jeremy's muted.
Sorry, I was trying to keep the dog from barking.
You're good.
What was that? My apologies.
He was just gonna use. He's gonna. You're wanting to light it up, right?
Yes,
Okay.
That was the plan.
All right. Yeah. Then Max, puts the torch down, tosses it into the thing, and like watches it catch light.
Wonderful.
And
warms his hands on the blaze.
Over the next few minutes, the small fire grows into choking black smoke fills the area around as the smell of death and burning hair and flesh fills the air. The skin begins to melt off of the wagon. The wooden appearing sides start to melt and slough off in the fire. It's you're burning some corpses. It smells real bad.
This is kind of off topic, but when all of our player hands line up, we make the lesbian flag.
Oh yeah.
There's a specific flag for lesbians.
Of course there is. Everybody has a flag.
flag?
They're all different color combinations. Because rainbow. What are you guys doing? You're standing around these flaming corpses?
I think Max is gonna start gagging on the smell and start getting ready to head out.
Yeah, no, we'll pack up, load up any of our goods into Hidalgo's cart, and we'll continue on to Ruinswick.
And in the couple hours of travel that you guys have before you get to the outskirts of town, is there anything you'd like to do, discuss, any impressions you'd like to try to make on one another?
Max is probably gonna, he's gonna pull out the map that he'd gotten from that one dude, and he's gonna look over to Echo and be like, "Do you recognize this place at all?"
Cool. We'll take the map and look at it. Do I need to do a roll to see if I recognize it?
Yeah. It can be
Fun.
any of the knowledges that you want to pitch for how you're going to use it.
Let's see what I got. I think I got like a geography or.
I would accept knowledge geography.
I have dungeoneering, geography, or nature.
Geography is probably the most appropriate of those three.
Okay. That's gonna be a 17.
17, not bad. You are looking at this as you're inspecting this map. The thing that really calls out to you is like the coastal location, and you know where all of this stuff is in relationship to Ruinswick, because Ruinswick is on the map. But to the east of Ruinswick, there is a long, strangely shaped peninsula, which is where this location is. And you have been to Ruinswick, and you know that there's only a north-south road, and the north road is, calling it a road is generous. Really, the only way into and out of Ruinswick is the southern road, which is the only way you guys have ever come and gone through Ruinswick as players throughout your experience. So, but you as a local would know, like from maps and things, like, oh yeah, there's a peninsula back there. There are mountains between here and there. Like, there's no real road out there.
So the location we're looking at is on the peninsula or like right off the shore?
It's on the peninsula. It's both. It's right off the shore, but it's on the peninsula, like back behind Ruinswick to the east. And you guys can literally just look at the map in maps and things to see the described peninsula.
Echo's just gonna say it's east of Ruinswick.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at that. Yes. Is that? Do you want to start? Do you want to start our search there? Figure we can stock up and get any information we can at Ruinswick, and then if we want to go out there, we certainly can.
Yeah, we can rest up after that fight.
Sure hope they have.
If Echo's a caster.
What's up?
I don't remember if Echo's a caster or not.
She is.
Okay. Do you need spell slots or anything?
Let me see. I want to say I used 2 or 3 for last round. So if you're gonna go battling again, then probably.
I mean, it's always good to have them and not need them, than need them and not have them.
Yeah.
What time of day is it?
Evening, probably 7 p.m. now. By the time you guys get to Ruinswick, it's going to be 8 or 9.
Yeah, get to Ruinswick, grab an inn for the night, start back up in the morning.
Yeah.
Just make sure everybody's tip top.
Then you cover the remaining few hours on horseback. You pass the last campsite and see that it's actually quite full this evening, as you hear the raucous laughter of drunken folk as you trot past into town, and at this point, you guys can see the farms are now on both sides, the farmhouses rather, and the fields spread across, even in the dim starlight. And the lights from town are visible and getting closer and closer. You're probably less than a quarter mile from town at this point, riding up the road. There is a large windmill, as well as a wide, stout building on the other side of a low hedge, which grows about knee high on either side, all the way up and down this last couple miles going into town. Anywhere in particular, you guys know from just like general experience that Ruinswick has a town center, and that is where most of the goods and services in town can be found. What would you guys like to do? Where would you guys like to go?
Definitely heading towards the sound of drunken hoots and hollers. Those sound like my people.
Yeah, Max is just gonna be like, yeah, I know we have the taverns in the town center, so I figure we head that way. And then he is looking back at Echo and see if she's gonna be coming along, because now she was saying not going about going into town and stuff.
Roll for it at this point if she's just going to chill in the woods or not. The likelihood, positive, we go in. Negative, we don't.
There, you're stuck. Let me size you up.
Yeah. Okay, we're going in.
Then great. As you guys trot into town, the first thing that meets your eye is a pair of guards standing out front of a building, out front of this building here. And they are watching you very closely as you pass into town, but not saying anything to you.
Max gives like the cordial wave as he trots on.
Titus will sort of size him up, like he'll pause for like a half second in front of the bigger one, and just kind of look him up and down, and then continue in.
Okay. And you guys continue down the path. And I'm sorry, I need to know, is Pepper following you guys?
Pepper is 100% following.
Then the guards are going to call out, "Hey, stop you with the thing, the bug."
Echo's going to stop, but she's not going to look back.
You can't take that into town. There are kids in there. I don't want it eating people.
Max is.
Echo's going to look at Titus and Orcish. It's like, tell them that she doesn't eat meat.
Max looks over at Titus and like what'd she say?
She says the thing doesn't eat meat.
And then Max like, no worries, my friends. This thing is vegetarian. It doesn't eat meat. You have the kids can sleep soundly.
Roll diplomacy for me, please.
Fuck yeah.
That's also why Echo didn't say that, because on the off chance we can have our face say it, I'll take it.
And it's a good opportunity to bond with the human you don't like. If he can smooth talk, then he has a purpose, right? Then he has a use.
Even with the mediocre roll of 9, it's a total of 19.
Fucking Tyler's here. Thank you, Jeremy, for chatting with Tyler. I didn't even fucking have chat up. Hey, buddy. Welcome in. What was your final, bud?
19.
19, he says. Yeah. So the guard kind of like looks at you and looks at that thing, and he like squints and he turns to the other guy. He's like, "Hey, let me see your lunch." And he's like, "Come on, man." He's like, "No, come on, give it." And he like digs into his bag and he like pulls out like a little like pie looking thing, and the first guard like takes a piece of it and like walks over to the mantis like real slow.
Hold on, let me see what tricks Pepper knows.
Okay.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
And he's just like inching closer and closer to it. He's got like his hand out at full extension, and he gets within about like 2 feet of it, and he like drops it on the ground in front of it, and he like kind of just like backs up.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I want to see if she knows it.
Yeah.
Well, would fetch count? The animal goes and gets something if you do not point out a specific animal item. She'd point out it and tell her to eat it. Fetch.
So you want her to eat it?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it meat
full
or
disclosure,
is it?
This is a meat thing. It's like a meat pie. It's like a piece of a meat
Well,
pie.
I guess let her see it. Tell it, because fetch is just to say the animal gets something, so she would have to look at it and check it out.
And she can like pick it
If
up
it's
with her
meat-
little.
Yeah, she'll
things.
check it out. If it's like a meat pie, she won't eat it. But if it's a veggie pie, she will eat it.
Tyler, I have been waiting for one day for somebody to cash those points in it's literally 5 minutes. It's gonna be really glorious. It's 5 whole minutes of me singing my DMing.
Play along as well.
I'm not saying some players have opted in. It's not a requirement for them, but it's gonna be like opera, like really bad opera mode. It'll be great. So I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought for the game. You guys are approaching. He dropped this thing. Pepper's picking up the piece of food and like inspecting it and like looking at it with her big bulbous
I feel like
eyes.
he might take like a little nibble, and if it's like a meat pie, she just kind of like spits out the little nibble and just like drops the meat pie back on. Actually, no. Can Pepper give the meat pie to the guy?
Like hold it back out.
Like hold it back out to him.
He's like, what the fuck? Oh.
I forgot that I had him.
Jeremy has enough channel points to redeem the singing DM mode. So I need to set a timer for the next 5 minutes because he's redeemed the singing DM mode.
Oh, Jeremy, you're amazing.
I forgot that I had almost 10,000 points.
Oh no. With 10,000 points, he can redeem it once more. But not today. Okay.
Dave improvise.
The guard, glancing at the meat, says, "You give this to me? Is it for free?"
Pepper's just gonna look at him, and it's like she don't know common. She don't know him.
I reach out my hand for a treat from this beast.
Oh, Jeremy, what have you done? Pepper's gonna hand it to him, yeah.
Well, it looks like you may have your lunch, and though you may not want the bunch of saliva that is now upon it.
Max chimes in, and he is going to be like, "If you won't eat that, can I have it? I don't mind a little dirt."
I am really quite hungry. I do not know if I can share. But if you are truly starving, I believe I may have a spare pair.
Nice.
Yeah. Max reaches into his bag and like he pulls out a knife, and he's like, "How about we split it?"
You would share
Or you-
it with me.
Only because you will share with me.
These songs are bringing me glee.
And the minutes I've been singing so far is 3. The guards
Come
have
on.
now been satiated and have no more quarrel with you. Now, what to do next is your call to choose. Slant rhyming counts.
Close enough. I'm going to the tavern. I want to see what all the hullabaloo's about.
Same.
As Titus goes to the tavern for drink, it gives your DM just a moment to think. He knows that this place is full of folks who are loud, and none of them after alcohol are too proud. Behind the counter is a man quite fat, and if I do say so myself, he wears quite a nice hat. What would you like to do now?
What's the cause of all the hoot and hollering?
Is this man orcish?
The name of the tavern that you have chosen to go, the Rusty Hand Axe, tonight is the host of a show. The tables are all pushed together a bunch, and on them 3 halflings dance around like one hunchback creature.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say we have stripper halflings.
I mean, the show's not over. Still could be.
They spin me right round, baby, right round.
Oh, my timer is done. It just didn't actually beep at me. So there it is. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for redeeming the first ever sing mode. I really hope that somebody caught a clip out of that, because I definitely was not able to do any of that. Those are limited to 1 a stream, because it's going to be absolute chaos if I have to do that for more than 5 minutes in a night. Okay. You guys have...
so mad she missed that.
What's that now?
Becky's gonna be so mad she missed that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it sounds like you have 4,000 and some points left, so you'll be able to redeem it again for her, I'm sure, at some point. And it'll be just fine. And it's all recorded, so I mean, you know, if she really wanted to, she could go back and find it. It's the first half hour of the stream, so you don't have to watch through that much of it to get to it.
Oh, was the fat guy behind the counter? Is it our orcish friend?
Yeah, now that I can talk like a normal person, you guys walk through the sleepy town where, you know, at this hour, a lot of folks are done for the night, and you come into the town square. And I am assuming that, you know, by Titus's comment that he wants to go where the raucous was, that those of you players who have played in this town would agree that the Rusty Hand Axe is likely the location where the most raucous laughter and a good time is going to be had, especially because on this night there appears to be a traveling troupe of halflings called Tales Half Sung, and they are like literally standing on tables, like they're not singing, they're like orating, they're like telling a story, but they're doing it flawlessly. Like it's obviously been practiced, and one of them starts for a while and tells you the story and gets to the cliffhanger moment, and then the second one picks up and tells you the next chunk of the story, and there's like that's where all the laughter is because as they're like getting to these like breaks in the story and stuff and these jokes that are kind of like baked in, there's like a ripple of laughter which is going through the tavern. There is a very overworked looking orc who, because I was singing, apparently tonight is wearing a feathered cap. And he is like scurrying around with drinks. There's a couple of like bar hands helping people out, but the it's like set up to where there's these tables pushed together. There's these halflings on top of it. Everybody else is in tables around them or like standing kind of in a big ring. Probably like 25 people, uh, and most of them are like orcs, dwarves, halflings. There's like a couple of humans in here, but a lot of the folk in here are like non-human folk. And that includes the bartender, an orcish gentleman who is standing behind the bar. He literally doesn't even see you guys come in because how many people are in here and like the show going on, and you three are just kind of standing in the doorway taking in this scene. And for once in all of your adventuring lives, you're about to walk into a building and all eyes aren't going to be on
Well, I can't be having that.
Can you sing?
Absolutely not.
You've got quite a show to stop, and you've got your work cut out for you.
What would be is the tavern situated like somewhat in town square ish?
Yeah, here, let me literally.
I was thinking what might be outside the tavern.
Here is the exact geography. This is the tavern that you're in. So there's like a couple of houses. There's a general store. There's a large, fancy inn. There's a bakery. There's a church. There's a guild hall, like in the town square. But there's just like a kind of a plaza field area behind the tavern.
You said that's the inn. Okay, that's the tavern. Okay. Okay. In like the most unnecessarily confident manner, I want to like try to shout out above the noise of the crowd. I'll say, "Hey, if you guys want to see a real show, watch me break this tree in half outside."
Oh man. I'm gonna let you tell me what check you're gonna make here. I will warn you, you're making it with disadvantage. But you can do a straight charisma, you can do a diplomacy, you can do your own performance. But you definitely need to let the dice decide how well you're doing on this one, bud.
If you don't watch me break this tree, I break you.
So you're gonna walk into a tavern and try and intimidate the building full of people. I just want to clarify before we get started here.
Of course.
Cool.
Don't stat.
So go ahead and roll that with disadvantage. And you guys are hearing Titus yell this as he opens the door, and he's going to get at least some people's attention. What do the other two of you want to do?
I was just like probably in emotional shock right now. Like her eyes are just bouncing around the room.
I think
So she's not worried about Titus.
Oh,
Max
baby.
is going to take a few steps away from Titus.
I think I broke my hand.
Ooh.
How?
Because on my first roll, I got a nat 1. Oh, no, this is intimidating. Maybe they don't hear me at all. I don't know. I got a 1. Comes
Okay.
out to an 8.
Oh, you're. I thought you meant like you hit your hand right now. I was like, I think I broke my.
No. Yeah.
One of the
I gotta-
gnomes literally like breaks character and is like, and he like just mimics you. He's like, if you guys don't come outside and look at the tree, and the whole crowd, everybody like laughs, and they go back to watching the show. But you guys definitely have a few people watching, looking at you, side eyeing you from the audience, and anybody looking at the gnomes will catch you, will catch a stink eye from them for interrupting their performance, presumably.
Oh, Andreas, edit that one SpongeBob meme.
There's a million SpongeBob memes. I don't know which one you're talking about.
It's the one where he's like hands on the hip, like meh, 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 meh.
No, I can't. I can't think of that one.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, sorry. I think Max.
Go, Max.
No, yeah, Max had like stepped away from him because he felt like he was gonna make a. He thought he was gonna make a bit of a spectacle, and like it was not gonna be a good spectacle.
In a dejected manner, he's gonna go to the bar to get a drink.
And the orcish barkeep looks you up and down and says, "Are you all right there, son?"
No, my parents didn't love me enough. I need outward validation, and they didn't give it to me.
I can't give you that either, but I can give you beer.
That's what I meant.
Max comes up right here. Is like he's been drinking a little bit already.
You don't say, the orc says. And he looks past both of you. Who's your friend?
Just as you noticed, our friend.
Go's
I
gonna
need to
say
know whether or not Pepper is in the building or not.
Pepper 100% is in the building. We ain't leaving our main bitch outside.
Okay, then this is going to change pretty drastically. For the sake of role playing, I'll say that Titus, went straight to the bar first. Max, came up behind him to have that interaction. We're going to say that Pepper, in her moment of shock, takes an extra minute to step inside, and that because the three of you were standing in the doorway, or excuse me, Echo's moment of shock. Because three of you were standing in the doorway, Pepper wasn't even visible. But as Echo now stands in the doorway and steps in, and Pepper clambers in behind her, there's immediately just like a piercing scream, which like one young woman screams out. And a bunch of other people turn and like push themselves back. There's like chairs and tables clattering over as people are like rushing the bar, the opposite of the door. Oh my God, there's a monster here! Like everybody, all 20 people in this building are starting to flip out. And Jaka is going underneath, has produced a large war axe from underneath the bar. Max, what would you like to do?
Give me 1 second. Spells.
Real quick, a hard cut to Titus drinking at the bar while all of this commotion is going on around him, and he's like, "Oh, God damn it! I could have wrestled the mantis."
That would have been a good idea. Hey, this is our moment where we retcon it. Titus wrestled the mantis.
Could have wrestled the mantis.
Downs his drink, gets another. And then
when Jaka, you said, is pulling out the giant war axe, right?
Yeah.
Echo in Orcish is just gonna like kind of put her physically she's putting her arm out in front of like Pepper, like how they used to do back in the day before seatbelts were really good.
Yeah, I got you.
And she's just gonna stay like stop, just chug your cob, basically.
Are you yelling this over the screaming crowd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Max, he just sees this and he loudly says it's okay, she's vegetarian.
People are definitely still freaking out. At this point, Jaka has had enough time to get the axe out and say, "I don't care. She's bad for business. She has to wait outside."
Max is probably going to walk over there with her. walk over to Echo, and just gonna be like, hey, I don't know if I don't know. You could probably stay somewhere around down here, maybe on the roof or something, but I don't think she could be inside. She's scaring all the people in here.
Echo's gonna look at Peppa's and let's see what we can get the Peppa's to do.
That's fair.
Could Pepper climb on the roof and chill up there?
She could perform a climb check and try to get up on the roof.
If she can jump too, she could probably just jump up there.
She has her like little mini fly, so she could just get up there. I forgot that she has her like her fly thing. So yeah, she could end up on the roof.
She's just gonna tell Pepper to go to the roof and whatever. I can't remember if we decided on Sylvan's how they communicate or what.
Sylvan's a good language for that. Yeah. So Pepper turns around and walks out of the building. Everybody's still freaking out. Jakka at this point has cleared the bar and is now halfway across to you. And pretty loudly, he like yells in Echo's face, "What the hell were you thinking? Bringing that thing in here. Town gets attacked by monsters twice a goddamn year, and you're bringing them into the fucking bar. We just got the doors fixed."
Max interjects here if Echo's not going to say anything. Now, calm down. It's been a long day. We're all just a bit tired here, is all. Here,
no,
let me.
I'm tired of fucking adventurers. Out of my bar. Out. Get. Leave.
Max was gonna offer.
Is gonna ask it like in Orcish, like as he's saying like leave. I don't think we had an official name for Echo's dad, so once again, blah blah blah. Like, do you know blah blah blah?
No.
I'll randomize an Orcish name so we have one on a sticky note.
Roll me a diplomacy check because you're trying to get it to answer a question, and in this state that's going to be difficult.
Okay, give me Orcish. Gotta have that pulled up. Ooh. Since I have a bad diplomacy, I'm bringing out my pink dice, baby. Actually, no, I'll use the dice that Dave got me for Christmas. The purple glitter ones. Okay. 10 and minus whatever I got a minus.
Oh, because you're not the most charismatic. That makes sense.
Yeah, no. That's her dump stat, baby.
That's her dump stat, baby.
Surprisingly, not too bad. 19 goes to an 18.
Then, with that, he basically says, in Orcish, like, back, says, "I do, and I won't talk with you about it." And then repeats himself in common for you guys to get out. And it's not clear who he's referring to.
In Orcish, she's going to tell him, "That's my father. I need to talk to you about my father."
So then you can come back another time in Orcish. And he says, "But now I need you to leave." And he like takes a step towards you, like and pushes you a little with his axe towards the door. Like it's a bar, like it's a hockey stick.
Still not going to move, and she's going, "Have you seen him? It's urgent."
Oh, Jennifer. What's Titus and Max doing in this instance? Things are obviously escalating. What are you guys doing?
I think he's probably still wallowing in self-pity at the bar.
Cool.
Max, I need to look something up real quick.
It's an important moment, so I will give that to you to look it up. Tell you what, my water's empty, so I'm gonna go refill that, and when I come back, you can let me know what you're doing.
Yep.
Could have wrestled the mantis.
You could have. That would have been funny.
Who? Cheerios?
Only Cheerios.
Oh, did I? Oh, the one that you said wants to play. Okay.
All right,
Are they
bud.
around here?
So how loud is it around right
How?
now?
Things have dropped to a very uncomfortable quiet outside of Chaka yelling.
Damn. Okay. I was hoping there'd be noise so that I could kind of hide a spell, but
Nobody's looking at
think-
you right. Well, that's not true, because you just talked a minute ago. So there's quite a few people looking at you. So
yeah. Max is going to kind of just step in between the two of them because he was kind of standing there, and then he's just going to be like, "Oh, I apologize for the intrusion. I know a little bit about the Blood Moon situation, but so I understand it can be a bit tense. We mean no harm, of course.
great, then show it by leaving.
Damn. I think as this, he's going to turn to Echo, and then we'll come back tomorrow morning. But right now we don't want this to escalate into a fight. And then he's going to signal over to Max, like...
You mean Titus?
Titus, yeah. I don't know if Titus is going to be... Titus is chill there in the bar drinking. He can make his choice if he wants to stay there.
Do you have your back turned to them? Are you watching this interaction, Titus? What's your engagement level like?
I sort of imagine he was like on a bar stool leaning against the bar watching the commotion unfold, kind of wallowing in self-pity a little bit. But I think now that things are escalating, he'll probably start to make his way over.
Chaka's going to be like, if you're with them, you got to go too.
How big is this? Is he a full orc or a half orc?
He's a full blown orc. He's a full big bad civilized orc. Because that shit happens in my world.
I'm a paying customer.
Oh.
And he says, "You haven't paid me anything yet," and he smacks the beer out of your hand, and says, "And now you don't have anything to drink. Leave."
Max just pulls out, 5 gold and like...
No!
Max, you have 5 gold in your hand. You have your coin purse in your hand, and you've got 5 gold pieces in your hand. As Titus says, "Make me," and you look up. And because you're a player, you get an opportunity to react first before the NPCs do.
He's just like, under his breath, "God damn it!" and he pulls out, he grabs a bit more gold. He just like grabs a handful of like, I'd say probably a handful of like 25, and then puts it in Jaka's hand, and then like looking at Titus, he's just like giving him a nasty stares, like, "We'll be heading out now. Apologize for the intrusion."
So I have a couple of questions here. Are you trying to convince Titus to leave in this moment?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to talk Jaka down? Because then Titus, Jeremy as the player, do you think Titus has a possibility of being persuaded by Max, and that's worthy of a roll, or is Titus going to be pretty staunch about this? Your character, your choice.
You go for what you think is right.
So going through the the thought process and chain of events that has just transpired.
Yeah,
Titus-
it's a lot. Let's unpack it. It's a good point.
Titus was 100% about to pay for his drinks, and maybe even give him a little extra, just because he felt bad for the commotion that he kind of caused, um, or at least initially incited unintentionally. And then he took his beer from him.
That he hadn't paid for yet. But I hear you.
No.
That he thought
But
he
he
was
was-
about to pay for. I get you.
He was about ready to pay for it, and he took his beer from him. So I think he would probably need to be persuaded.
Okay. But there is a possibility of him being persuaded.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be pretty convincing.
Okay. DC 20 on your diplomacy roll here, bud.
We got two
All right.
gremlins and one
Can I
golden
say
boy.
can I say 18?
It's your character. Yeah, I thought you said fairly difficult, so I went for on the sheet for fairly difficult is 20.
Yeah,
If you think Titus is
I-
feeling a little bad
I-
here and it's 18, then you know.
I imagine there's like a tiny second of sadness in Titus's eyes when the beer got slapped away, and then it goes to like anger.
rage.
He big mad.
So like as this is happening, Max is just like he's handing the gold. He's like, "We're leaving now." He's like, "Oh, we'll get you a beer somewhere else." Okay, 23.
There you go. So Titus, you get to decide how you react to this.
I think I'm gonna. How tall is this orc?
Jakaw's like 6.5, 7 feet tall.
I'm gonna go like near nose to nose with him. I'll be back. A pause, and then I'll follow Max out.
As a good paying customer, as they're leaving.
Echo. You're still standing right in front of Jakaw, as far as I'm concerned, unless you're also leaving.
Yeah. Give me 1 second to formalize my thoughts, because we just went through a lot.
Well, it's a world that reacts to the things it reacts to.
Yes, I understand.
Jakaw don't know none of you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Echo and Orcus is just gonna say, like, I'll come back tomorrow to talk to you. And we picked a name. Dun da da da. Warrock?
Cool.
To talk
Send
about
it to me in chat somewhere.
Yeah. Da-na-na-na.
And the three of you make your way out of the tavern, which you hear the sound of the halfling voices begin to pick up, and what obviously must have been another joke, because there's, like super loud laughter, just like all the tension of the moment, everybody like all that stress everybody was holding, like, cut through it with a joke, and everybody cuts loose, kind of like as you guys are as the doors close behind Echo. And you guys find yourself standing in the marketplace, and the only other building that appears to be open right now is the large inn right across the way called the Shaded Chestnut.
Oh.
I'd like to imagine that the joke that the halfling did was just like it was quiet for a second, and then it's just a Marvel joke. So that just happened.
Since Pepper's up on the top of the building, I kind of assume, like, when she sees them leaving, she'll just flutter back down.
Yeah, sounds great.
Think, Max. He puts his hand in his face, and he's just like pacing back and forth, and it's just like, have you no tact? Can you
Who's he
not?
talking to?
He's talking to both of you guys.
He's talking to both of you.
Can you not just sit quietly and order a drink at a bar?
I was. He didn't know I was with you until I decided to come save your shit.
Yes, you were sitting at a bar, and then you chose to anger the giant, might I remind you, orc with the war axe.
That is not how that played out. I approached him peacefully. He was the aggressor in that situation.
He's also the bar owner.
And I was going to be a paying customer.
Don't you know? It's the bar owner's rules. The customer is never right. Don't you know?
Echo's gonna look at Max and she's gonna look. This is why I told you I can't come into town.
There are simple rules. You do not bring a scary monster into a building. I can forgive you for that, but I cannot. But I can't. There's no excusing not leaving when asked to leave.
Mr. Rules over here. Mr. Manners.
I mean, his god is one of law.
No, I love it. It's great. It's perfect. It's very in character. I think it's a great dynamic because these two are so not rule people.
Yeah. I value my father's life over someone's rules or etiquette.
I think Max softens up a little bit there, and he's going to say, like, I understand that, but you cannot get information just by tactlessly asking for information you need. You need to grease the wheels a little bit.
What wheels? My cart is perfectly well maintained.
How far is like Echo's house from the town? If we're in the woods.
I mean, that's kind of up to you, but I imagine it's no more than an hour or two on foot.
Imagine it's probably like. How long does it take to walk a mile?
Through the woods, probably. Well, I don't know. Through the woods, it wouldn't be too long. I don't know. Walking a mile probably takes. I don't know. Probably takes like 25
minutes. I mean, like 15 to 30 minutes, depending on just how rough the terrain is. Really.
Yeah. Let's call it a half hour because it's a forest.
Okay, then I'll say like Echo's like the cave house situation is probably like a couple miles out of Ruinswick.
Yeah.
So Echo's just gonna start walking in that direction, and she's like, "I'm going home. Follow if you will," because I don't think we gonna find another place to stay the night.
I mean, there's another place. Yeah, there's another place, but it's not going to go well for us metagame wise.
How much would Tim have told Max is the question. How much detail would Tim have gotten into about his time in Ruinswick?
Probably might have just said he was shitty. I don't think he would have gone into detail about that.
Okay. He's your character. You know the most.
Okay. And Max is just gonna ask, but like before she gets too far, he's like, "Might we have some directions in case we choose to come by later?"
She's just gonna say, "Come now or wait here."
Phrasing.
Hey-o.
Damn.
We got a lot of hard opinions tonight, guys.
Yeah. Well, I already know what's gonna happen if
Y'all can come to her house cave. She's invited you.
No, I know. I just know I do want to get an interaction with that in at some point. But I know if I were to go for it now, it's not going to end well.
I don't know. You won't know unless you try.
Don't think about that, Andreas. Think about Max. You've got this prim and proper dude with this orc and this strange creature who he's not real impressed with in this particular moment. The strange creature has just said, "I'm going home," and the orc is hanging out here with you. What would Max do?
I know what Max would do, but I don't want to.
What would Jesus do?
Max is gonna look over the street and like see the inn. and look at it. And he's gonna look to Titus and is like, "Do you want to check that place out?
Her house or the inn?
The inn. I'd much rather sleep in a cotton bed than some dank cave in the middle of the forest."
Echo is gonna turn her like head over her shoulder, and she's just gonna like, in common, I wouldn't want some disgusting human sleeping in my bed either. And just go and like, she's stomping off. She's ticked. Follow now or forever hold thee peace.
And that leaves Tim and Titus, or Tim and Titus, Max and Titus, standing
I think
in the square of the Ruinswick Hall. Although at this point, a dwarf has come out of the rusty hand axe and is now smoking a long clay pipe and pretty shamelessly just like watching you guys from like leaning against the tavern.
I think if this town caters to such unpersonable bartenders, I don't want to give them any more of my coin. So I'm gonna head off with Echo.
Okay, good. I was gonna say if you went with Max, you were not gonna have a place to sleep the night.
Okay, so so you stop off.
Do I need?
No, because you're going home. You're going home.
Okay.
I mean, it's yeah. No, you're.
I was gonna say, do I do a survival roll to speed up this process?
No, you're absolutely 100% fine. I don't have like a civilian dwarf. I don't think so. Yeah, I have a dwarf with a hammer. Not like it matters because I think you're going in the fucking chestnut. So you guys make your way off to Echoes. And Max walks into the shaded chestnut, and because Max gets to his destination first, I'm gonna roleplay his interaction. So Max, you step up into the threshold of the shaded chestnut. There's a large, sturdy oak and iron door. It seems to be really overbuilt for this building. And everything, like, and you kind of glance around, like, everything's really sturdy. There's like a high stone foundation and like really thick timbers and stuff. And as you push into the building, it's a lot quieter than the rabble that was going on across the way there. And not only that, but you can tell that the clientele is much different. Whereas the previous place was very much so like a working class establishment. This place, everyone is, you know what? They remind you of home a little bit, as a matter of fact. There's not a lot of class here in Ruinswick, but what there is to be had can definitely be found at the Shaded Chestnut. There is a blonde, small-framed woman tending bar, and a lot of human men, a couple or two here and there, and there is a human just quietly playing a lute in the corner, like nice little background music. What would you like to do?
Max takes in the sights, and like he was at the Free People's Academy, so he's seen other races and stuff. And Tim had told him that this dude was kind of a prick, and I think he makes at least a connection now that what some of what that prick meant. But he is going to, walk up to the, I guess the barkeep, and then he's going to, he's going to flag him down.
Her lady.
Her.
She, and I killed my camera guys because my stream quality just absolutely fucking dropped. So she. Yeah, they probably can't even fucking hear this on the stream. I don't know why it does that. Why it just like drops to nothing, and I just like lose a ton of frames just randomly. Maybe it's an internet issue. I don't know. But you walk over to her, and she looks at you and says, "Well, you're a nice surprise. I haven't seen you in this town before. Where are you from? Looks like you haven't even been on the road that long."
Just traveling on on a pilgrimage from just on a pilgrimage, traveling, seeing the countryside.
And she says, "Ah, pilgrimage, yes, yes, trying to serve your friends and neighbors, help out those lesser beings, perhaps. Help them see the light."
How do I respond to this? That is very blatant.
She just said the. Oh.
She just dropped the N-word, and it's like normally
she just said the hard R N-word.
You know, Max looks over. There's
context of the fantasy world. It's not like that. It's absolutely not like that.
No, I know.
She's definitely using coded language still.
I know, but that's how it's making us feel.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
I need you to react to the way your character would hear it as. You know, it's like, and plus, because this is a live deal, it's like, you know, make sure that it's clear. I know that you guys have a lot of history in this town, but it's, you know, it's new for some folks.
I would say because Max has he's the nobility thing, and I feel like, you know, if you're around like nobility kind of people, you know, it's the whole like, you know, you don't say things outright, you imply things. So I feel like he would know.
He would pick up what she's putting down.
Absolutely, I would not put it past Max to understand what she's saying. I just want you to know that Max knowing what she's saying clear as day is not the same as her actually saying things clear as day. There's a little bit of a subtext conversational difference between them. Like, you know, it's not going to set off any red flags for anybody in this establishment, I guess.
It's diet.
No, yeah. He's just going to a non-answer there, and it's just going to be like, my pilgrimage, you know, helps those from all walks of life.
She says, yes. Well, I'm sure that if you're all the way out here, that you must be thirsty. Can I get you something to drink? Maybe some food?
Oh, no, nothing. I'm quite full as it is. I'd just like a room for the night. Preferably something small. I like, you know, I like the wall. I like the walls feeling a bit closer to me. It just helps me meditate a bit better.
She says, well, we don't have anything like that here. Just large, wonderful, luxurious rooms. But I'll give you a single, and that's a gold and 5 silver for the night.
He'll give the gold and 5 silver.
Okay, great. And she gives you the key to her room, and you are free to take your leave.
And that is what Max is going to do. And he's going to do that.
Great. Echo and Titus. So Echo storms off, says, follow me now or don't or something. You know, Max says, what about this inn? And Titus goes like, I'm going to follow Echo. And so the two of you like waltz into the forest, and it becomes obvious to Titus that Echo knows where she's going. There's a path that's not really obvious, but once you've been traveling it for a few minutes, you can start to pick up on it. And it's obviously like a well-picked, often-traveled path. But it is going to take you guys, 45 minutes or so to get to Echo's place. Is there anything you guys would want to do or say to each other during this journey through the forest?
I think Echo would 100% be like muttering under her breath in Orcish. It's like, like kind of thing. Like she is not in a mood.
Well, it's still just bitching about humans in general.
Not necessarily humans, just kind of the whole. She's not a monster. She's a well-trained, that kind of thing. And then it's like,
she's your service mantis.
Yeah. Oh, I'm making a T-shirt of that now, 100%.
Oh, that's great.
But like that, and then like, comments of like scared of a Bug and that stupid human with all his rules and like that kind of thing, just under her breath in Orcish.
Cool. Titus, you're following behind this crazy muttering masked figure who you only met this afternoon. Anything you do while you're traveling?
I don't know if this is actually how it goes, but I'm kind of imagining that Echo is a little ways ahead of Pepper and Pepper and I are walking together, and the camera just like slowly pans back to us, both of us center frame, walking for a couple beats, and then Titus just kind of leans over, is like, "So, how long you guys been traveling together?"
Squeak, squack, squack!
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the Bug. Can the Bug know what people are saying? She just can't speak.
She's spent a lot of time with you. She can maybe understand common. What's her intelligence stat?
Let me double check. She has a high one. It randomizes it, and Pepper got fucking lucky. Pepper has an intelligence of 5.
Of 5. Not perfectly, but she gets the gist of a conversation.
And Pepper is gonna hold up her hands, like her little hands, and then just spread them as wide as she physically can. That's her way of trying to say a long time.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Echo for a second. Like,
no, the Bug.
Got it.
Pepper's trying to answer your question.
Okay, well, this will be interesting because Titus's intelligence is 7.
Maybe you guys are you're two
Can we actually understand each other because
maybe Titus understands the Bug better than he does.
I'm going to argue that as long as you guys keep it simple, you guys can understand each other.
Sick.
Oh,
it's a Scooby and Shaggy situation.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is how Echo and Titus bond over their mutual love of Pepper.
Jesus.
So Pepper is gesturing towards you, Titus, in response to your question of how long they've been together. So seeming to at least understand that you've addressed it. Her.
Yeah, I think it might take him a second. You're just like, what the fuck are you? Oh, a while? Oh, okay.
And when he's going oh yeah, Pepper's gonna just nod her head up and down.
Right. It's like, oh, okay. Cool. And then he'll look ahead to make sure there's still some distance, and then he'll go back to Pepper a little closer and kind of in a hushed tone. Is she always this angry?
And Echo or Pepper's gonna shake her head no, and she's gonna take her hands up and put them where her eyes are, and then just slowly drift them down the face.
Are you trying to do the crying motion?
Yeah.
We're gonna play verbal charades, and if I can figure it out, then I can understand Pepper.
Dude, I love it.
This is gonna be the new segment of Titus and Pepper's Adventures of Translation.
Fun is a universal language will be the name of the segment.
It's just a bunch of. It's once we get enough compiled, we get a 5-minute video of just all the times Pepper and Titus had to try to communicate.
Let me tell you about my best friends.
He's a warm-hearted in the end.
That's the spin-off. It's just the adventures of Titus and Pepper.
Titus and Pepper.
They go good together.
Oh man.
They're birds of a feather.
Yeah, I think Titus and Pepper are just kind of making small talk somehow, inexplicably, as we travel and follow Echo through the woods.
And I'm going to let Echo describe to you what you eventually end up stumbling upon, because that's it's her house, so she knows it best.
Yeah, it's kind of I forget what they're called in real life, but how in the Hobbits in Lord of the Rings, how it's like a grassy hill, and then it's like a
Shire?
cave, but it almost has like the top portion looks more like a hill until you wrap around from the front and you can see it's a cave that's like had stuff grown on top of it.
They just call them hobbit holes, but I don't think that's what you're looking for.
Ah,
It's
Big
a low grassy hill.
yeah, but like there's kind of the stones in the front of the entrance, and like as we walk around the path and we wrap around.
Is there like
It's
a door?
like this is where I'm getting at, yeah. There isn't a wooden door, but like there is clearly a giant rock that has like ruins and stuff on it. And you kind of just see like Echo wipe her hand on it, and it's doing something kind of like this, yeah, but think more stone than wood. And she's moving her hands around until she finds like a mechanism, and she opens, like, is able to pull the stone back.
Cool.
And in the Hobbit house we go.
What does the inside look like?
Oh, I would say like large amounts of animal pelts, like on the walls and on the floor, and there's like a desk. Herbs and stuff are hanging all over the place. There's like a thing in the middle of the room, and Echo is gonna like move her hand up and cast. Dun 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 dun. Move from the pepper sheet. I think it's what's called light.
Yeah, light.
Yep.
Light, and she touches it to like illuminate the room. There's like orcish masks around the room, and like daggers and different ingredients and things like that.
Probably some books.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's like bookshelves and stuff.
Yeah. As Titus makes his way into this space, what's his reaction? Anything Echo wants to say to him?
She'd probably just like pick a pelt.
He takes the largest pelt on the wall and drapes it over himself.
It's literally just you two, Jennifer. I got no dog in this fight.
I know. I'm imagining Pepper's just standing next to Titus, and Echo's on like the other side of the room, just making her little, her bed out of a roll and stuff, and getting stuff for her thing situated. So it's up to Titus if he wants to have a conversation.
So, question: is this, and Titus wouldn't know this, but for me, is this the first time Echo's had anybody who's not her father in this space?
100%.
Cool.
Oh, so Titus is the first boy that she's brought home.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to want to try to fuck Echo. Pepper, maybe, if you guys create a nice special bond.
We're about to create a new D&D race.
D&D is a game about imagination. Why not both?
We're about to find out if Mantis has titties.
Oh, man. She's a pet. That's,
She's just as
She's not
almost
a pet,
intelligent
she's a
as...
friend.
Apparently. Oh, my God. This is why I have a not safe for work tag on my streams. So Titus pulls the pelt off the wall, wraps it around his shoulders, and Echo is just like in the corner quietly getting her pelt together. And meanwhile, Pepper's just like cautiously eyeing you.
Eyeing me or Echo?
You. In
Right.
like a friendly way, because you guys are. But Pepper's never had anybody else in this space either, so I'm imagining that she's, kind of just like looking and like doing the head tilt, the like confused animal head tilt thing.
Yeah, I think at that, Titus is going to be like, he's going to be very uncomfortable, and he's going to be like, so, do you have like toys or something that you want to play with?
Are you talking to Pepper?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. And Pepper is gonna like, have you seen a mantis dance?
Yes.
hold on. Let me see if I can actually get a GIF in the chat. Dancing
They're
mantis.
actually pretty good.
She's gonna, this.
Yeah.
That's what she's gonna start doing. And she's like, hell yeah. That's what's gonna start happening here.
I think
I-
Titus is gonna be confused and not really understand what that means, so he sort of makes a similar shape with his body and like mirrors her.
Yeah. But Pepper is gonna like, she's gonna spin around the room like circles quickly because she's like excited. And she's probably gonna go to like one of the corners. And she's gonna pick up like some stones. Just like some little stones like the size of a ball. And she's gonna like toss it to you. Like not at you, but like at your feet.
Am I about to play fetch with a giant mantis?
Oh, that's 100% Pepper's intention because she knows fetch.
Is there an open window?
There isn't really windows, no. It's a closed cave.
Okay, well, would Titus be able to open the
Yeah,
rock?
from the inside, you're
front
good.
rock?
The door, I assume, is still adjourned, basically, a bit.
Okay, yeah, he'll kind of look at it, look back at Pepper, back and forth, and then throw it out the front door.
And Pepper is gonna let out, like, a little bug squeal of, like, and, like, run out. And a few seconds later, you just see her run back in, and she's gonna drop it back at you.
Like wiggle in her little mantis butt.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Okay, I guess this is where I live now, and he'll throw the ball again.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was thinking of. Andreas posted a good pic of the house.
Oh, nice. All right.
That was a generated one.
Oh, damn. They're getting good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Cool. Yeah, I had one the other day. I'll have to try and find it and post it. It was pretty cool. So you play fetch with Pepper for a while, Titus. Echo gets her bed ready, and then what's Echo's process look like at this point?
She's probably just gonna like grab a book off the wall and just start reading it and sitting there and occasionally looking up to see like, Pepper start squealing, and then look back down at the book and continue reading until that kind of whole process.
Right. But so Titus doesn't appear that Echo is like engaging with you. She's like reading quietly in the corner while you're playing with Pepper. Is there any other ground you want to cover tonight here, bud?
I don't think so, because I think that I think Titus is wary about pissing off somebody else, and this time it being somebody in his prospective party. Just because he wants to work towards taking out the wizard, and unfortunately he knows he can't do that by himself, and so far these are the only two that he thinks might be able to help him do so. So he doesn't want to risk losing one or both of them. So he's probably just going to be a little cautious around her for the time being.
That is some grounded storytelling right there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Girlfriend's mom.
Love it. Then I will ask Jennifer the same questions. Is there anything in particular Echo would do for the rest of the night, or are you guys just going to kind of quietly spend the evening reading and playing with the mantis and then resting? And
Yeah, she'd just be reading. If Titus did make casual conversation, she would respond. But if he doesn't, she's not going to ask him anything.
Cool. Then this seems like a good time to take our official break. It's not just me grabbing some water. So we'll take 10, do a real break, and then when we come back, we'll DM you guys a little bit and move you through back into town to meet up the next day.
Cool.
Be back.
All right.
the charades thing worked perfectly because it literally states can speak but is apt prone to react instinctively and impulsively and resorts to charades to express thoughts.
Yeah, so I think you guys are right on the money then. Jeremy or Jennifer should just describe what Pepper does in mime. And then, Jeremy can just make an interpretation. And because Pepper knows yes and no, Pepper can at least answer like, yes, you're right, or no, that's not right. And I think that's a great way to treat communication between them.
Yeah. We were joking about, okay, why is Pepper so, like, friendly naturally to people? It's just like, well, when she was a tiny little insect, she was chilling out in Ruinswick and got to see a bit more social interaction than Echo.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah. And maybe, Pepper's a bug with intelligence level of 5. Maybe to Pepper it doesn't make that much difference. Like, these two-legged things that walk are all good because the person who takes care of me is one of those two-legged things that walks. So, sure, those are great.
We do a flashback from 10 years ago, and if you zoom in really closely in the background of some of the shots, we see a tiny baby Pepper.
Sweet. So then, does anybody have anything in particular they had their mind on doing in the morning before they rejoin the party, or can I, as a DM, just put you all in the same place?
I'm fine with put all in the same place.
Yeah.
Great. Then it is... Oh, you know what, actually? There is one thing. Before we go too much farther, I was going to do it before we came back, and I totally spaced it. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta do one thing real quick.
Oh no, what?
Don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh.
Dave, that's some bullshit, and you know it.
What are you talking about?
Just so you know, Dave, I'm only 50 points away from another singing lesson.
Well, you can't redeem it today because I have it set so that you can only redeem one per stream. But I know that you will likely redeem it next time around. Let's see here.
You gotta time it whenever you sing. Like there's bards doing a performance. Then he just has to perform.
No joke. When you guys were talking about the theme song for Titus and Pepper, I was like, yeah, of course. I didn't get my sing mode. This is a very rich area. I could have sung about this for 5 minutes easy, but you make me sing about it as you're walking into a new town that I have to describe. Like, great. That's
Titus and Pepper, they go good together. They're birds of a feather, and they're more fun.
Let me see here. God damn it. Where are you? Way down my list. Okay, here we go.
Oh no.
You rolled a D100 for once. Something that's gonna happen.
We're about to see a flesh golem, aren't we? Oh no, we're the halflings, crack halflings?
That's purdy.
What's purdy? Were the halflings on the crack corn?
It's a bad one right there. If he's not saying.
Please don't make the halflings be crackheads.
No, but I will say that that because Echo and Titus are spending the evening in this one room space, that Titus is nowhere near a sound sleeper. He's like tossing and turning and like grunting and groaning all night.
One might say we even spent the night together.
You spent the night with Pepper. Let's come correct.
Yeah, that's fair. Pepper definitely likes me better than you.
Yeah. You'll never know. Maybe you guys will eventually bond through your bond with Pepper, but we ain't there yet.
But where you guys are is in or around the town square of Woodhurst. You guys can be set as far back as you would like to be from it, or you can be smack dab in the middle of the square. That's kind of up to you guys. Where would you have set to meet? Where would you have come together?
You said that Echo was tossing and turning, or Titus was?
Titus was tossing and turning.
Okay.
It was not a restful sleep, Titus.
Oh.
Was it because Pepper was cuddling up against you, or was it because of the hard, cold floor? We'll never know.
I think I know exactly what that was. But anyway.
Oh, fuck. Hold on, Amish. Oh, I think I know what it is too.
Yeah, I had a stressful day and therefore had a stressful night's sleep.
Makes sense to me.
Dave, can I ask a question?
You can ask whatever you want, but I reserve the right to not answer it.
What's the moon cycle? What moon are we on?
Is that something that Echo tracks very closely?
Maybe like for like spell purposes. I don't know, like if orcs feel like it's like the whole like chicken bone blood stuff. So I don't know if like moon cycles would count in that.
I mean, Titus is very much not a traditional half-orc.
Yeah, I think it's dependent on its you as a DM if orcish. Because from what I've read from Pathfinder, there's like it didn't give me like very much super duper specifics besides like orcs cut themselves for magic purposes, blood, bone, chicken thing.
Well, then here's what I will say. I'm going to rule in this instance, because there's not anything explicitly written about the moon, that no, you don't know the lunar cycle, but feel free to look up tonight, and it would be very easy to tell.
Okay.
But, asterisk, your dad can have taught you about whatever orc clan or values you want, so feel free to write that and send it to me, and then as stuff like that comes up that pertains to it, we can do that. But you write as much of that as you want, and we'll set it up that way.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Pepper? I'm assuming we're meeting up. Is Pepper here, or is she like in the woods somewhere?
I think Pepper, being a bit like Pepper kind of realized yesterday that she was the drama queen in this moment. And when they start walking back into the woods, Peppers is just gonna stick put and is like, gonna bug talk to Echo and be like, I'll wait over here.
So Echo is in the woods on the edge of town. And the three of you are meeting where precisely?
Assume town square, because that's the last place Echo knows we left Max.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have just been following Echo. Because otherwise, I'm gonna want a rematch with Dickhead at the bar.
Oh no!
In the light of the early morning sun, you can see that there are individuals going into the woods a few meters south of where you guys come out of it. Not a few hundred meters rather south of where you guys come out of it. And they are all carrying large double-bit axes. You make your way to the town square, and all of the places of business are open, so the scent of fresh baked goods is coming out of the Sweet Dreams Bakery, and Flint Brooks This and That is full of different adventuring baubles and bits. There's a large church with a couple of individuals coming and going from it. A large official looking guild hall, and lots of individuals passing through this courtyard, going from point to point, carrying their groceries and doing their chores and things, and all of them are definitely keeping one eye on you as they're going about their business. Anyone who stares for too long, catches your eye, immediately looks away and picks up their pace. But I just want to make sure that you guys know that this is not a private space.
I guess Max sees them coming up the road, and like once they meet up, he's just like, "I trust you guys slept well."
Titus is like rubbing the sleep from his eyes. He's got some noticeable bags. Yeah, I guess.
And Echo's gonna look at Max and it's like, no time for small talk, we got business. And then it's gonna start walking towards the rusty hand.
And you guys approach the Rusty Hand Axe. Its large door is closed. And you open it and come inside, and there's a barmaid standing behind the bar. And she looks up at you and says, "Good morning," very flatly.
Max is gonna be like, "Good morning. The big orc fellow. We were hoping we could speak with him."
Oh, I'm sorry, he's out right now, as she wipes down the bar. Can I take a message?
Sure. Would you happen to know where he might be?
He just told me he'd be back later this afternoon.
Max is gonna look over at Echo.
And I'm going to even say that, Max, with your background, with your nobleman background, and kind of like you were talking about, the reading between the lines that you've got, you definitely get the feeling that you're, like, being secretaried right now.
Gonna go up to the stool and it's just gonna all wait.
It could be quite a while.
I'm gonna sit at the stool next to her and reach over the bar to grab myself a drink.
And she comes over and she grabs what you were reaching for, like out from underneath you, before you can get to it, and says, "If you'd like a drink, you can ask for it. Or would you like to get kicked out of the same establishment twice in 2 days?"
Well, if you guys would give me the opportunity to pay for it.
And she says, "That's a good point, actually," sets it on the back counter and says, "I think payment in advance for whatever you're going to order is due this morning."
Well, now that just seems like profiling.
Did you not just ask for the opportunity to pay?
Not in that tone of voice, honey, and I'll flip her 2 gold. 2 drinks for us, please.
And she'll pour whatever it was you were reaching for you, two mugs, and slide them very pointedly across the bar to exactly the halfway point before letting go. And
Roll a dexterity check, see if you can actually get there.
What's that now?
I'm saying, roll a dexterity check, see if she can actually aim it just halfway.
For precisely, you get out the calipers and you find out that she's hit the smack dab center of this table, down to the micron. No, but she takes your payment and kind of looks at the rest of your companions and the rest of you.
And Max, sits down, and then he's like, "I'll take a brandy if you have any."
And she nods and sets.
This is first thing in the morning. I think we just walked into the bar at 8 o'clock and got liquor.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
She don't care. She's running a tavern. She's all about it.
No. It's just funny from an outside perspective.
Yeah, and pours you like a splash of brandy in like a normal sized mug. Like it's not a glass traditionally for this drink, but she just like pours you a little bit in a horn, and slides it over to you, and asks for the gold in exchange for it.
And a single gold.
Will do. Yes.
And he hands that over.
Echo?
Oh, I isn't gonna order anything.
Okay.
No, I bought you a drink.
Oh, she ain't gonna drink anything.
You're not gonna drink it?
Nah.
Fine. Fucking Titus will double fist this shit.
Yeah, she put them both in front of you, Titus. So you like, I'm imagining you like slide one over to Echo, who shakes her head or something, and then just like without taking your hand off it, slide it back.
Yeah, I kind of assume it's like the thing of like when the person puts their hand up to say like no, and then Titus just takes it back.
Shh. Okay.
Like I took a sip from my beer, handed you yours. you handed it back. So then I finished my beer and then took another sip of the second beer.
Love it. Then
Max,
Max, go ahead.
sorry.
No, please.
Yeah, he's just going to like look over to the barmaid. He's gonna like, do you perhaps serve breakfast?
He says, I do serve breakfast. We actually have a meal which it was quite popular with the last band of adventurers who came through here.
I'm willing to try that out. Would you guys want any? And he's looking over to the Echo and I need to remember the names now. Echo and Titus, and he's as I'll pay.
Like a comically audible rumble comes from Titus's stomach. Yeah, I suppose I could eat.
Echo's gonna shake her head no.
All right, and he's just like, I'll take 2 servings of the whatever those adventurers had.
And she says, "Great, that'll be 1 gold." And I'm assuming you pay her, and she's gonna shuffle off to the kitchen and say, "I shall return in a few with your breakfasts. Please behave yourselves while I'm gone." And she scurries away.
I want to imagine that, like, whenever Titus was like saying, please, this when Max was sitting down, and he gave him like the good, like, oh, good job, like impressed face.
Oh my gosh, you had table manners?
No, it was not condescending. It was like a
no. I'm
legitimate
saying
one.
Serious voice.
What?
I'm saying that seriously. I wasn't meaning to sound condescending.
No, I know, but Max's was also a bit of a genuine one. It was an improvement from yelling, hey, let me take out this free.
Oh my gosh, you're the mom of the group. And we're your toddlers. This is the moment where the toddler doesn't scream at Denny's no more.
I was trying to join in the fun. God.
Titus is our angsty teen.
He kind of gives me Groot vibes.
Groot vibes?
A little bit.
Yeah, I
like
can see
when
that.
Groot was a teenager or when Groot was an adult?
I haven't watched the first Guardians movie. I've only watched the second one, so I'll say the teenager.
Yeah.
You've never seen the original Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh man, that's a great movie with a great soundtrack. I don't even like superhero movies, and that's
there's a little baby Groot dancing
with a good soundtrack. That's
How did you watch the second one but not the first?
Seriously.
Watched it in theaters. I was like, yeah, watch.
Oh
yeah, it was whenever it's coming out.
Date. That's when our first kiss was.
Aww.
Guardians 2?
Yeah, and I remember because Andrea said some cheesy lines.
Hey, you know
and
what?
We will not be saying them.
I have had a lot of cheesy lines work really well for me. So you know what, man? More power to you.
I will say that Lynn calls me a cheesemonger because of how cheese my shit gets.
Fun.
Yeah, we're a gentleman. You asked permission.
Oh, man. But we are adventuring in the world of Valmina. You guys are awaiting your breakfast, which has just now arrived. It is just a pile of like meat and like ham and bacon and sausage, and there's like a fried egg on top of it, and just like a big ass, hunk of bread. This is quite the hearty breakfast.
Yeah, Titus is here for this shit.
Yeah. Art really enjoyed it as well. I think he's gonna recreate it in his restaurant tavern that he one day creates. I think it'll be a signature dish.
In D&D, we should recreate the dish.
That would be fun.
Max,
I'm sorry, Max. Go ahead.
No, it was just going to be a food thing. It wasn't related. It's super important if you got something to say.
No, I'm just I'm just thinking about like I've spent a lot of time thinking about Art's character and trying to like get in his shoes. And I'm for sure gonna let Art or Daniel choose all of Art's major plot point decisions moving forward. But I might build an NPC who's basically my interpretation of Art because now I'm like really liking this idea of like a retired adventurer turned restaurateur who's like really passionate about breakfast. It's just like I just really want to like have that NPC in my world somewhere. Anyway.
Specifically, breakfast is pretty funny.
Yeah, that was his deal.
There was in Tim's backstory stuff. There was a character just named. It was a chef character. That he didn't have a lot of stuff there. In Port Saucus.
Port Saucus feels like the kind of place that somebody might end up at wanting to open a world-class restaurant.
It's the Swedish chef from the Muppets.
No, it's Anton Ego from Ratatouille.
It's in-game Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. That's his name.
Gordon Ramsay.
No,
Proud of
wait,
you.
that's his name.
Gordon Ramsay. Oh wait, that's his name.
You guys are throwing up the other ones. Like this one makes sense. This one sounds right. It's like yeah, it's his name.
Yeah, that's why it makes sense. Because that's.
But there's a whole bunch of food in this plate, and Max was expecting quality, not quantity. So he gets through about like maybe half of it, and then it's like, oh, that's too much. And he's offering the rest to. What's up?
Titus finishes it for him.
Yeah, he passes it over to either of them if they want it. So Titus goes for it.
And Echo's just sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys finish your breakfast. About an hour has passed, and the bar wench is kind of floating around. She's like asking you, "You here for? Would you like more drinks?"
I think Titus will like kind of look at the group to gauge their interest in more drinks before he answers.
Another round will be fine.
You guys can just, if you're gonna have another brandy, it's a gold. But if you're gonna have a beer, it's 5 silver. And you guys can just deduct whatever it is you're having, and she will bring you out your drinks. And as she sets them before you, she's going to address Echo primarily and say, "Really, I don't know when he'll be back."
I'll wait.
And what business is so pressing? Is he expecting you?
Right, so she asked, what business is so pressing, and then is he expecting you?
Right.
Okay, Echo's just gonna say, the life of my father, and that's it.
I see. And who might your father be?
Let me see how it was. Warrock.
Warrock? How do you spell it?
Waruk. Warrock.
Oh, Warrock. I got you. See, I would have put an apostrophe between the A and the R, and it would have been Waruk.
And we'll go with Waruk. I just went with the generator.
But she says, is he the quiet one? He likes that spiced wine. That's him, isn't it?
Would this be him? Would this be him, I guess, in this case?
Yeah, I mean, that depends. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. Is he, you know, she could potentially be describing him. That's up to you, I guess.
Echo's gonna say he has scars on his face.
And she kind of like makes a face like most orcs have scars on their face.
Ritual scars.
And you can see like a light bulb click in her, like that sign of recognition. She's like, oh, that one. Right. Yes, I think I might have seen him in here once or twice, perhaps. Interesting. Um, and that's all? It was just to discuss a patron? Your father? You said it's life or death? This is Jennifer thinking.
She said yes.
Oh, I did not hear.
Oh, yeah.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I must have just cut out.
Yeah.
She says yes. And she says, well, I don't know exactly how much help Chakar will be, but if you insist on waiting for him, I suppose as long as you're also drinking, I am inclined to let you sit. So please enjoy your stay. And just like makes her way back up the bar and is like cleaning the same spot she was cleaning 15 minutes ago, kind of thing. She's just like keeping busy. And you three are largely alone in the Rusty Hand Axe.
Max is gonna look over and it's like, what do we do? Do we want to stay here all day? I mean, it could be hours before Jacob gets back, and maybe we can pursue another lead. I know of that there's another wizard in town here. Maybe he'll be a bit more helpful there.
I assume like at this point they've been sitting here for a while. Like Echo's kind of like taking something out to like mess with. Like how Art would take like a knife to a little piece of wood or something.
Yeah,
and
what is
Echo's
version of that? What does she do?
I would think she's probably is just, like she has a piece of like bone in her hand that she's like carving out into like a talisman or something.
I gotta say, I see her not as like a sculptor, as like she finds like she like carves like drawings into bone is kind of what I imagine her doing.
Like something like that, yeah. And she's gonna say like my father did not speak of wizards; he spoke of the orc. I'm staying. You do as you will.
Because Tados will look at Max. What do you think, bud?
Well, I think if we stay here, we'll just be bleeding gold. And while I don't mind supporting local businesses, I also like keeping my pocket heavy.
I guess we haven't really checked the rest of the town though. So there's a tavern, the inn. We haven't gone.
Here, let me rattle off what there is here. There is
The general store. Like everybody goes to the general store at some point. We could always go there to see who may have traveled through there, or we could go to the guild hall and get some work while we wait for Echo.
Uh, There isn't anyone else right in the tavern, right? Really, it's just us and the barmaid.
It's literally you guys and the barmaid. Yeah.
Dang.
Everybody who had money came out and spent it last night, and they're still hungover. Nobody's up yet.
Well, and we're the only psychopaths drinking brandy at 8:30 in the morning.
It's like 9 now. You've been waiting around. Get your breakfast.
I'll have you know.
Eating our bacon and eggs with brandy.
I'll
We're
have you
not
know.
alcoholics,
You cannot.
we're brewers.
Alcoholics drink for breakfast. Classy people drink a brandy for brunch.
There's a difference.
It's not alcoholism if I mix it with orange juice.
Oh my gosh, we're all just drinking mimosas.
See, I want to try and figure out something to do, but not necessarily like take 2 hours to do it just to pass the day, or like
So
that's
I encourage you guys to. Echo is very committed to this pass. She wants to talk with the barkeep that she thinks has information about her father, and she's like committed to this because that's what her character would do. Titus the mercenary has come into a bunch of money, spent a bunch of money, met these weirdos, spent the night with Echo and her buddy Pepper, and are now hanging out in this new town. Max is a high-class fellow in this podunk one-horse town. You guys have a little bit of, yesterday you had this strange encounter with these mimics. You have this map. You know that you're probably not going to stay in this town for too long. You've talked about going to the general store. Like, what would your guys' characters do?
figure Max would want to. Honestly, Max would probably want to go to the general store and see if there's anything that he can pick up.
I think Titus would probably head to the guild hall to see if there's any bounty board either there or somewhere else in town.
Guildhall's a good place to start looking for work. Cool. So then I'm going to. You would express some interest, Titus, in going to the store. If you hear that Max is heading that way, would you have an interest in going with him, or are you more interested in the Guildhall?
No, the store was just an overall suggestion because I was trying to think about the store from a character perspective too. I mean, I already spent a shit ton of money on a new axe.
Right, in a better town that has more stuff.
Yeah, but I can't really think of anything that I necessarily want at the moment.
Except more money.
Maybe Titus orders a room so he can get a good night of sleep.
I don't know. Titus might be too proud for that. This dude works through holidays. He's not taking naps.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's pretty one-track mind. I'm gonna go for the guild hall.
Cool. Technically Flint Brooks is closer. So, Max, you approach a well-worn shop front of a simple but spacious shop with all of the necessities of travel. Some of the mundane items that commoners in a rural environment such as this might like, including, it's like part farm and feed store. There aren't really any full-blown weapons here other than some very simple kind of utility items. But there is a... Sorry, guys, I have way too many shops and things. There is a human individual behind the bar who lets out a haughty and friendly "Good morning. What brings you into my shop? How can I help you? You look like I haven't seen you before. You look, if you don't mind me saying, quite out of place here in our simple town."
And he is going to out of place is where I like to be. It's never comfortable being in the same place for too long. he is going to ask, might you have any sturdy knives?
But of course, what woodworking perhaps, or something curved for leather, skinning maybe. No, you're a sleek individual, a dagger for personal protection perhaps, as he kind of like shifts his eyes back and forth.
Yes, a dagger will do. Preferably one with a fancier hilt, but if none are there, then I'll take a standard one.
He says, "Oh, I'm certain that I have the finest dagger in all of Ruinswick." And he reaches under the cabinet and pulls out of the glass case, "Right here!" And it's a dagger with a petrified bone handle, and that's something that like only happens under specific magical conditions. It's kind of rare. A normal dagger I think runs like 1 gold or something. A jewel and diamond encrusted dagger can run up to thousands of gold. This one, it looks nice. It's sturdy. It's well constructed. It has this petrified bone handle, and he says, "And it can be yours for only 20 gold pieces, huh?"
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go hundreds. Like, okay, I'm willing to bargain. And then he is just gonna look at it real quick and maybe run an appraise check on it. Maybe.
Yeah, roll an appraisal check on it. Absolutely.
Only +4, but let's hope I get a good number. Total of 12.
Total 12. You 20 seems reasonable for this item. Could be worth more, could be worth less, but as a ballpark, like, you're sure he's making some money on that, but you're not sure how much.
Fine businessman, teetering the edge of affordability and profitability. I'll take it for the 20 gold.
He says, then it is yours. This is, and he, takes it and sets it on top of the counter. And he says, "Is there anything else I can interest you in, perhaps?" He says, "If you expect to need this," and he pulls out a potion of minor healing. He's like, "You might need one of these."
And he is going to say, "Might I get a? Do you guys offer a rewards program?"
Do you have a membership with us?
You pay me with gold. I reward you with goods. Of course.
Perhaps a loyalty discount, and
And he looks at you and says, "Sure. Friends who have been doing business here for years. Of course, I appreciate them." He says, "Maybe I'll introduce you to one of them if you stay in town long enough."
And then he just responds like, "I look forward to the day. May I ask how much that potion is?"
"Why, only 50 gold pieces."
And he's like, "Perfect. I see you even filled it up extra. Baker's dozen, I see." And as he pays the 50 gold.
Cool. And he hands over the vial and the potion. And so you're out 70 gold, but you have a brand new dagger and a new potion of healing.
If I may ask, does that dagger have any different stats, or is it just dagger stats?
Nope, it's just dagger. Just a fancy
Okay.
dagger. It's a nice looking dagger. It doesn't have any fancy stats, but if you find yourself, at a card game, it would make a great betting item type thing,
If it was like hundreds, I would have like, yeah, maybe that, but at 20 gold, I didn't expect anything.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, then Max is probably just going to be like, "Well, pleasure doing business. I look forward to coming here again."
And he says,
And
yes, please. My
yeah,
pardon. And you are, and he holds his hand out.
I am Maxwell, and then Maxwell, and he shakes his hand.
It's nice to meet you, Maxwell. Until next time, let your friends know.
And then he's like, "Will do," and he leaves.
Cool. Titus, you approach a large set of double doors in one of the largest buildings around the square, and it's a long, narrow building with a high ceiling, which you can see from the outside. There are, there's a big like axe and tree motif on the door with like a green heraldry background, and underneath it it says the Woodsman's Guild on the door.
What are the? I mean, I feel like it would be dumb to assume that the Woodsman Guild only deals with like logging related bounties, but what is the Woodsman's Guild's shtick again?
Titus has had an experience in Woodhurst, and he did see that there was a woodworking guild of some sort there, but he didn't interact with their booth, so that he has your basic assumption that they deal with wood type things.
Well, I've got an axe. I can fuck up some wood. I'll head inside.
And you open the doors, and there's a long green runner carpet, which runs all the way down to a few steps at the end of the corridor, 200 feet away. And actually, you know what? I have a map for this, don't I? Because my previous bros spent some time there. Did I just put up the Woods Men's Guild Upper? Okay. So there's this big long space with like benches, like waiting benches, all the way running down. There's like a big brass pipe which comes out of the wall in one point, and there's this curved table at the end of the passageway, which has from right to left a bespectacled orc, an angry-looking dwarf, a quiet human, and a half elf who has like half moon spectacles that are like all the way down at the bridge of his nose, and he's like inspecting some paperwork. Only the orc looks up at you as you enter the building.
Sorry, I was trying to find a reference, couldn't find it. Titus will make his way down so as not to yell, since apparently people in this town have something against yelling.
I know, how unreasonable of them.
Fucking weird. It's just more efficient communication. I don't have to be as close to you. He'll make it down. Whoops, too far. He'll probably get like here. Shit. Tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Probably get about here. Um, and then address specifically just the one that was looking at him.
Yeah, the bespectacled orc sitting in this chair.
Yeah. I see this town at least has good taste in their leadership, addressing the orc specifically.
And he says, they do. This is Ruinswick has its issues. He says, but they do see sense when presented with no other alternative, I suppose.
Good to know.
And the dwarf looks up at you in an agitated voice. What do you want?
Well, I would like to not be interrupted when I'm having a conversation with someone. First off.
It is you who came in here. And the spectacled orc like turns over and says, "Now we've talked about this." And the and the dwarf says, "I'll talk to you about." And he starts grumbling off, and the orc turns back to you and says, "What brings you into our hall?"
Just an honest mercenary looking for some honest work.
Well, we just concluded some business with a few freelancers such as yourselves, or such as yourself, you're by yourself. And unfortunately, unless you're interested in swinging that axe of yours at a tree, we don't have a lot of work for you. Are you skilled with your hands? Are you a craftsman?
The only thing I craft are my enemies' skulls.
I like to imagine that he just misheard.
Oh man. Yeah, and the orc. I see. Well, uh, he says, "You look like a strong one. We could probably pay you, depending on how much you work, a few gold a day if you wanted to go meet the loggers down and report to the foreman."
Come on, nothing odd happening around town. There's been no sightings of wizards or gnolls or mimics in nothing.
Roll me a perception check, please.
Let's see. This is gonna be the first roll I've made tonight.
Oh my God! Really, Titus?
You can do it.
Okay, where the fuck is my thing? I'm over here.
I guess it's very role play heavy, and Titus does not need to. No, you rolled an intimidation, didn't you, early on? You rolled that one.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
was a
right.
1.
Right.
I was about to say he didn't have
Perception?
to roll to
Perception.
understand it.
Yeah, no. I think it's a 5 at best.
5 at best.
Yeah, it's a
Cool. Then, you ask about all of that, and what you notice is the quiet human in this seat here, like sets his paper down, as you ask him about, if there have been. I'm sorry, repeat him. You asked him about if there was what now?
uh oh god, what was the first thing I said? Oh, wizards, gnolls, or mimics.
And they say, well, we did have an encounter, and the orc is saying, we did have an encounter with actually those previous adventures we were talking about. They came to town during an unfortunate time for us. Do you know anything about the blood moon phenomenon that we have here in the north?
I've heard rumblings of it. Admittedly, I'm relatively new to this land, but one of my traveling partners, I think, has a little more knowledge on the subject than I do.
Suffice it to say, it is a time of great turmoil for us, a time of death, and a time of loss. And we were reeling from that loss after these adventurers came to town. And for the first time, there was someone else who came, and they summoned them. We're still not certain of the nature of their relationship, but two things are obvious: that they were connected somehow. They have some kind of relationship, and that relationship involved payment. But it's you don't, if you excuse me saying, look like the type of individual ready to go toe to toe with a spell touched of that nature.
This individual wouldn't be accompanied by groups of goblins now, would they?
As a matter of fact, he might have been. And even with your 5 perception, you can tell that everybody is now listening to your conversation. You were being ignored before. That is no longer the case.
I see. Well, admittedly, in his current state, and unfortunately in mine, I'm unable to quell such a creature alone. However, I am not alone.
If you wish to. And he kind of like looks across the table and makes eye contact with the elf, who gives him the absolute most subtle nod. And he says, "It's not really guild business, but there is a wizard who takes residence in the tower outside of town. His name is Chariz. He has been known to both have a soft heart for the good of the people and also be an odd enough fellow to get along with you adventuring folk. I might ask him."
Sorry, who did they say was the soft-hearted fellow?
Char.
Chariz, Chariz.
And where might I find Charles?
A large tower in the small patch of woods
That's
to the
right.
southeast of
That's right.
town.
Tower.
Very hard to miss.
Okay.
And Titus has actually been in those woods. Like, it was like 2 weeks ago, but he was in those
Right.
woods. That's where he met Corbin, and where he, like, drug the wagon off too, and they had that interaction and all that stuff.
Hmm. Okay. Very well. I appreciate your time. If I stumble upon any more information, I will send a raven.
Uh, Good luck to you. If you would like some day laboring work, we'd be happy to set you up with some. And if you would like to commission anything from us, buildings, ships, carts, any wooden craft of any sort, please let us know.
Well, now that you mention it, I do have a cart that I have procured, and if I do say so myself, customized quite some bit. That being said, I do admit my shortcomings when it comes to woodwork, and I think it would be nice to have a professional's touch.
Do you have it with you now?
Yes, just at the edge of town.
And I say, well, if you have some time, I can send some craftsmen out with you to take a look and bring it back and discuss the specifics with you.
Oh, absolutely. I've got time right now.
And he leans over and like pulls a rope which is like inset in the wall behind him, and you hear the sound of a bell going off, somewhere else in the building, very faintly. And a couple minutes later, there are a pair of individuals, one human and one dwarf, who come out, and the orcish individual introduces you to them, and they follow you out the door to inspect your wagon. And they basically give you props for your ingenuity, They're like, I mean, and they're like talking to each other. They're like, I mean, if you didn't know what you were doing, like that would make sense. So, I mean, and he was like, you didn't have any tools on you, and you're like gesturing towards your big ass axe. You're like, I mean, I had this, and he's like, I mean, if that's all you have, right? Like, it's not bad, but they basically tell you that they can like upgrade it and sturdierize it for you for like 5 gold. Well, yeah, a few materials, mostly just the metalwork, the bolts and the bands and things, and we can use a lot of what you already have here. So yeah,
Done. Happily, I will happily spend that money.
cool. Probably just take us like a day or two.
I'll be around.
Sweet.
How far away did you say the wizard tower was?
Just on the outside of town. I mean, you can do all this. You could do all this in an afternoon.
All right, cool. Yeah, I got some stuff I can do in the interim. Just find me when it's ready to go.
Sick. I'm going to take a quick pause here. Let's see here. So I'm gonna just flip back to Echo. Well, I'm gonna make sure that she's just content, quietly sitting in a bar, waiting for as long as it takes for Jakar to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Give me just a second here. All right. Then I think what I want to do is ask Max what the next thing he wants to do is, as he's leaving Flint Brooks.
The only thing I can think of, because he doesn't really need any supplies or anything. So, and one of the other leads he had been given was talk to Charis. So I imagine he would have started heading up there.
Cool. Then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to DM this a little bit and say that you're coming out of Flint Brooks as Titus is like leading the craftsmen with his makeshift wagon like back to the Woodsman's Guild, and you can like overhear them talking across the courtyard, and I will let you guys kind of like pick up on that interaction together to start our next session. So if you guys want to do things like check in with Echo or whatever you can, if you guys want to go straight to Chariz's, you can go straight to Chariz and then download that information to Echo in the afternoon when hopefully she has the opportunity to see Jakar. And we will pick you guys up next week just after your conversation with Chariz. Or probably heading on your way to your conversation with Chariz. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
Well, sweet. Sick. Thanks for playing, guys. I know we're doing some role play stuff and some like getting
Probably
to know each other stuff and all of that, but it's important that you guys have a cohesive party.
I have the awkward teen years, and then it's like, yeah, I know, I'll die for this person.
But your DM doesn't pull punches, so when you walk a creature into a building of traumatized individuals who think all scary green monster things are really scary, then that things are going to happen. And I think that you all handled yourselves with grace.
Woo.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll pick it up next week. I will probably touch base with some of you guys between this week and next week. Just about a couple of like minor character things, but so expect to hear from me. But otherwise, enjoy your week, and I'll catch you guys next week. Happy January.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, I am done, and I do not have enough viewers for a raid, so I will just tell you all how wonderful you are. Tell you all catch you next week. Wednesdays, Fridays, we stream D&D. Later.